Welcome to this episode of Toronto Blue Jays Update. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share your opinion in the comments below. So let's talk about what just happened with the Mets this past week. I mean, literally 7 days ago, they were out on Tucker completely. They had what many were calling one of the worst off seasons in the league. Definitely the worst I can remember from a Mets perspective in a long time. Fast forward to now, and honestly, it's pretty impressive. I had my doubts, I'll admit it. Last time we talked, Alonso had just signed with the Orioles, and everyone was wondering what the heck they were going to do. Are they better than last year? I think they're better than they were at the end of last season. Their pitching wasn't very good down the stretch, and now I think it's significantly improved. Their defense should be better too. The offense, though, that's a different story. It's not better by any stretch. Losing Alonso from the lineup really hurts. But they've done a solid job rebounding, and I think they've got better balance with righties and lefties. You need Robert to get closer to what he's capable of when healthy. Bichette, I think, is going to be a beast, but not quite at Pete's level. So there are questions with the offense, but their run prevention, which is what David Stearns was focused on, I think he's accomplished that. It's not perfect, but it's better. Last year, they had 5 positions that were below average defensively. Now about Bichette at third base, that's the big question mark. Luis Robert is great when he's healthy, which has been about 80 games a year for a while now. Semyon has declined a bit. Polanco is moving to first base. Bichette has probably never played third since travel ball in high school. So do we really know they're going to be that much better defensively, or are Mets fans just hoping? I've seen guys transition from short to third before. The reactionary play takes getting used to, but Bo is such a good athlete. Remember when he played second base during the most important games of the year? He handled it pretty well in that short stint. I'm reasonably confident he can handle third, though you can never say for sure. I'm more skeptical about Polanco at first. That's a harder position than some teams give it credit for. You're involved with every play, every ground ball, every throw across the diamond. I need to see it in spring training. Should a team spending almost $400 million be hoping guys have career years and make successful transitions? When you're putting that kind of money into the team, it seems like there should be fewer question marks. You shouldn't have as many unknowns. This year feels more like his team than the previous 2. But Stearns is trying to flip the team and put his fingerprint on it. It doesn't feel like a perfect team right now, but they had 5 below-average defenders last year at third, second, first, and right field. I think they're better defensively at second and will be at third. Not sure about first, but better with Robert and right. When evaluating guys, I always felt you could take players who can hit and turn them into defenders most of the time. You can't do it the other way around. If you're a good defender but can't hit, you're not going to hit enough to be an above-average offensive player. It's just too hard. Finding good two-way players is difficult because there aren't many of them. They didn't have a Freddy Peralta in the rotation last year. That's a huge upgrade for run prevention. Peralta signed an early extension with the Brewers before. Seems like a guy who won't necessarily chase every last dollar. If I'm the Mets, I'm trying to get an extension done with him before he hits a weak free agent market next year. Throw something like 5 years, $150 million his way, and see if he'll bite. He has to feel comfortable with the team and in New York. Some guys handle it, some don't. Because David knows him, that's an advantage. It takes pressure off if you get Peralta signed and Manaea pitches well. You might not have to go after Scubel next year or spend what it'll take to get him. I love how the Mets pivoted in 3 days. They were all in on Tucker, lost him to the Dodgers, then immediately got Bichette and Luis Robert. Then they grabbed Freddy Peralta without giving up their top prospects. Stearns pivoted nicely. If the 2025 Mets played the 2026 Mets in a 7-game series, who wins? I like the pitching better for 2026. Better defense too, the offense was better last year. But in a short series, I usually take pitching and defense over the better offensive team. The number one reason their season derailed last year was how bad the starters were. 4 months of bad starting pitching. Their rotation is much different now with Manaea for a full year and Peralta at the top. I take the 2026 Mets. Was it a panic pivot to get Bo? There was definitely some panic. When you lose Tucker, there's going to be some panic. But they've been having conversations with Bo's representatives since the winter meetings. Part of the panic was he was going to sign with the Phillies fast. They had to blow his doors off to get him. That was the first time I felt like they really used their owner's money as a weapon. Just go do it and worry about consequences later. They got the player. That's what matters. Can Senga be a factor? When he's healthy and the ghost fork is working, he's really good. I feel comfortable when he's on the mound. The problem is health. I wouldn't count on him for 30 starts, or even 20. Project him for 15 starts. If it's 15, most will be good ones. The return package for Peralta was better than what the Orioles gave up. Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. I like Sproat as a starting pitcher. The impact for the Brewers, both short and long term, is better than the Hall Ortiz deal. Where does this put the Mets in the National League East? The Phillies are still the team to beat until they're knocked off. The Mets stack up close, but aren't quite there yet. The Braves are the wild card with all those pitchers coming off injuries. If they all stay healthy, that's a really good staff, but that rarely happens. I'd bet on Strider, Schwellenbach, and Sale. It's a 3-team race with the Phillies ahead of the Mets, and the Mets ahead of the Braves.